Today we're headed to the lab where we'll take a look at a simple rate law experiment that you can do with your class, and it can be performed in about 20 minutes. A big part of chemistry, especially a second year or AP chemistry class, is learning about rates of reactions and chemical kinetics. And I want to show you this quick, easy lab that doesn't need any fancy equipment that you can do in one class period. Hi there, my name is Jeremy Krug, and this is the place for all things high school chemistry for both students and teachers. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Take a look around, check out my playlists, that's where the action is, and I hope you'll like what you see. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. I've been teaching high school chemistry, honors chemistry, AP chemistry, and integrated science classes for over 25 years. And my goal is to help you and your students succeed. I've produced a printed lab worksheet for you to use with your students as they perform this experiment. You can get it absolutely free over at ultimatereviewpacket.com. Just click on Educators, then sign up for my free teacher resources in AP Chemistry. As always, students should work safely in the laboratory. Safety goggles, a lab apron or lab coat, and safe lab practices are a must. To do this experiment, you'll need a 0.250 molar solution of sodium thiosulfate, a 2.0 molar solution of hydrochloric acid, some distilled water, a few plastic barrel pipettes, 6 medium-sized test tubes, a couple of small 10 milliliter graduated cylinders, a test tube rack, a piece of filter paper, a pencil, a pair of test tube tongs, and a stopwatch. To start, take a pencil and draw a small X or a plus sign on the filter paper. Then dispense 5 milliliters of the sodium thiosulfate solution into one graduated cylinder. Then dispense 5 milliliters of the hydrochloric acid solution into the other graduated cylinder. Pour the sodium thiosulfate into one of the clean, medium-sized test tubes. Then pour the hydrochloric acid into the test tube. As soon as the two solutions make contact in the test tube, start the stopwatch. It's best if a lab partner or someone else runs the stopwatch. Look down through the top of the test tube and you'll notice that the solution slowly gets cloudy as sulfur is being formed in the test tube. As soon as the plus sign disappears completely, say stop, which will be the signal for your lab partner to stop the stopwatch. Now, you'll record the time it took for the plus sign to disappear in your data table. Pour out your solution into a waste container and repeat this process to get a second trial using a clean test tube. Take the average of these two times to get the accepted value for the time of this first series of the reaction. Pro tip, label your graduated cylinders so one is dedicated for sodium thiosulfate while the other is used for the hydrochloric acid. You don't want to switch your graduated cylinders, otherwise you'll start to see a reaction when you don't need to see one. Next, perform a second series of trials. Dispense 5 milliliters of sodium thiosulfate solution into one graduated cylinder. In your other graduated cylinder, dispense 2.5 milliliters of the hydrochloric acid solution and 2.5 milliliters of distilled water. Just like before, pour your sodium thiosulfate into one of the clean medium-sized test tubes. Then pour the diluted hydrochloric acid into the test tube. Just like before, start the stopwatch as soon as the two solutions make contact in the test tube and stop the time as soon as the plus sign disappears completely. Record your time and then repeat this process to get a second trial with this series. Just like before, take the average of these two times to get an accepted value for the time of this second series of the reaction. Now we'll do a third series of trials. This time, dispense 2.5 milliliters of sodium thiosulfate solution and 2.5 milliliters of distilled water into one graduated cylinder. In your other graduated cylinder, dispense 5 milliliters of hydrochloric acid solution. Pour your diluted sodium thiosulfate into a clean test tube. Then pour the hydrochloric acid into the test tube. Start the stopwatch when the solutions meet and stop the time as soon as the plus sign disappears completely. Record your time and then repeat this process to get a second trial with this series. And of course, take the average of these two times. Now you'll have some data. 6 trials total with 3 concentrations and 3 times. And you'll be able to see how the time it takes for the reaction to proceed to a certain point changes, or perhaps doesn't change, as the concentration of the reactants change. From start to finish, this lab can easily be completed in about 20 minutes, which means you can complete an entire experiment along with class discussion in one 45-minute class period with minimal equipment and with chemicals that can be easily acquired if you don't have them already. I hope you find this lab useful, and remember that I have all kinds of resources for teachers and students. Check out my Ultimate Review Packet for AP Chemistry. It's designed to get students ready for the AP exam, complete with summary videos, unit study guides, practice questions in the AP exam simulator, my exclusive tips and tricks, and 2 full practice AP exams with full solutions and explanations. When you buy a class set for your students, you'll also get access to my teacher worksheets, designed to give your students practice all year long on all 91 topics in the AP Chemistry curriculum. Thanks for watching, and thank you for teaching chemistry. It's one of the most rewarding things I can think of doing, and you truly are making a difference. Keep up the great work in your classroom, and I hope to see you soon.